Welcome back to Still Not Out podcast. Travis Wakeling, Jason Dizzy Gillespie for a New Year's Eve special. Happy New Year to you, Diz. Merry Christmas for last week and welcome back to your pod.
Compliments of the season, Trav, and hello to everyone. Yeah, New Year's Eve. It's been a great time, hasn't it? Had a great Christmas. How was yours? We had the wife's family over for Christmas lunch, and then I had to pivot and get on a plane to go to Melbourne for the prepare for the Boxing Day test. So that bloody 2-day test, crazy. We'll unpack that obviously, but how was your Christmas, mate? It
was lovely, thank you. Yeah. We hosted at our place.
Nice.
And as you know, I was crook. I was in the sick bed last week, wasn't I?
There you were. You were in a pit of misery, weren't you?
I was. That's as crook as I've been in a very long time. Really? Luckily, for a very short amount of time, it didn't last all that long. But I was miserable for about a day and a half. Yeah. But you got to fight through. One day completely uninterrupted to myself, which was a bit of a catch-22, I guess. Like I was crook, but I had the door closed, the whole room to myself for an entire day. So now that with young kids, that doesn't happen all that often.
That's gold.
From that point of view, maybe it wasn't the worst thing to ever happen to me, but no, Christmas was great. Had the family over. I was saying to you before, it was like we had lunch and everyone was out by about 4:30. People helped pack up and then the house was back to normal before 5 o'clock.
Sweet.
We just sat back, chilled, played a few games that night. And then I had a friend arriving from the UK, my poor English friend. Luckily, he's not too much of a cricket head, although he is going to the first day of the Sydney test. But he was arriving on Boxing Day. So I had a whole sort of 5 days full of plans for those guys as well. So it's been a good few days. But you went over to Melbourne. And you watched Melbourne? 2 days of Test cricket. Can you even call it Test cricket?
It was bonkers. I can't think of another word to describe that Test match other than bonkers. Trav, it was crazy. And you speak to everyone in the media centre, and everyone's saying the same thing. Like it's just in ultra fast forward. Was it the surface? Was it the conditions? Is it the way players play? I think it's just a combination of everything. And yes, it's a modern game, but I actually read a really good article from Greg Chappell. It's on Cricinfo. I think it was in one of the newspapers around the country, and he's been quite critical of the batting and the lack of, I suppose, lack of desire, lack of fight. It's almost as if as soon as the modern batter, and in this series, as soon as you see something move off the straight, they just decide the only way is to slog out of it, as opposed to finding a way. And and he referenced over 100 years of Ashes cricket. There's been challenging surfaces, and you've just got to find a way. And I think the modern player is just missing a trick a little bit. Yes, there's been some challenges, no doubt, but that's always happened in Test cricket. That's why it's actually called Test cricket, because it is a challenge. What I will say, I will defend, batters over the last few years a tiny bit, because Kookaburra have actually changed their ball a little bit. So there's actually underneath, outside the core, the cork, there's actually a plastic layer, and that's to keep moisture out of the ball, so it doesn't go soft and go out of shape. But also, what's actually added to that as well is that it keeps the seam a little bit more pronounced, and then you add in the extra layer of lacquer, and that could make things a little bit trickier. However, overall, I still think there's just too much impatience with modern batting in Test cricket at the moment.
So I'm keen to know what the shortest Test match you ever played in was. And also, and do you remember what the conditions of that pitch were at the time? Is there one pitch that, just even if it wasn't a particularly short Test match, is there one pitch that you really had to work hard? Obviously, your double 100 came in near impossible conditions.
Yeah, that was
but
tough.
Aside from that, what other games could you think of?
So besides Chittagong in 2006, that was a snake pit. There's been a few. Like we've played on surfaces that have offered assistance to the fast bowlers. I remember playing one in Port Elizabeth in 1997. It was just my 4th Test match, and it was interesting because it was an absolute green seamer. South Africa played 4 out-and-out seamers, or even they had 5 or 6 seamers with Hansi Cronje. We went in with McGrath and myself, Greg Blewett as the 3rd seamer, and double spin in Warne and Michael Bevan. We ended up winning that game. Ian Healy hit a 6 to win the game. Mark Waugh made one of the best hundreds I've ever seen in Test cricket. He got 116, I think. But that was a green surface that just nibbled pretty much for the majority of the game. I mean, one of our innings, our first innings, I think, we scored something like 110, 115 off 70 overs, Trav.
Wow.
So that's a fight.
That was hard work. I'm going to look this up, how long this game went for.
Yeah, it went for a decent amount of time. It went at least into day 4. Could have even been day 5.
Wow. You just don't have that resilience in the modern players, though, do they? They see
we
green
batted for
seam
70 overs and only got 100 odd runs. And people would argue the modern game that, that's boring cricket. But it was actually really enthralling cricket. It was hard. It was a hard graft. You had, Alan Donald steaming in, Lance Klusener, Jacques Callis. I mean, Sean Pollock got injured early in that game. But it was just enthralling Test cricket. And we ended up chasing 270 or something to win the game by 2 wickets. So, for me, that was a challenging surface. Have you got the scoreboard there?
I do. I've just noticed there's a reason that you remember that game so well as well. 5 for in the first innings.
I got 5 for. Yeah.
5 for 54 off 23 overs. So South Africa out for 209. And then Australia into bat. Bowled for 108. Gone.
How many overs though?
Guess who's still not out?
Yeah, well.
Jason Gillespie, 1 off 37 deliveries.
Yes.
That is
grind.
That is absolute vintage Jason Gillespie batting.
Correct.
1 off 37. You can't get more Jason Gillespie.
How many overs? We faced about 70 overs, I reckon.
Yep, 70.4 overs.
There you go. So 108 we got bowled out for.
Matt Elliott played that Test match, 23 of 121. And then South Africa came back for their second innings, bowled for 168. Dizzy with another 3 for 49. And then the second innings, you're right. Who's still not out at the other end?
Well,
what a game you had.
Still not out pod.
That's right. Well, this is why. Because it was very rare.
No, but what I remember, it was one of those surfaces that just seemed like all game. It was hard for the batters, and obviously the South Africans bowled really, really well. It wasn't until like that masterful 116 from Mark Waugh in the second innings that got us over the line. And I still maintain that's his best 100 in Test cricket. You'd have to speak to Mark, but he'd put that very highly in his rankings of his Test hundreds. But yeah, that won us a series, which was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's a cracking knock, isn't it, on a pitch like that? I still remember the Test Australia versus South Africa only 2 or 3 years ago, where Travis Head scored 90. It was a 2-day test as well.
Was that the one at the Gabba?
At the Gabba.
Yeah.
But Travis Head scored a blistering 90, and it was the difference in the game. So if you can get one batter that gets going, and you look, even Harry Brook, he didn't get to a milestone, but his knock sort of changed the game in the end in Melbourne. And it's funny how you've had two-day test matches in this series, the first one being the first test in Perth, but this one in Melbourne just felt so much more chaotic.
Well, it was chaotic. I mean, let's face it, the Perth Stadium test was very chaotic as well. That afternoon on day 2, where England just completely capitulated and just kept nicking length balls outside off stump. Like Australia hung the ball out wide and just waited, and England just took the bait. That felt a bit chaotic, but yeah, I agree with you. I think this test match at the MCG, just even more chaotic, I suppose, and for a variety of reasons. I thought both teams, I thought the batting was Trav. And the reason I say that is because everyone's blaming the surface. There's a massive pile-on of Matt Page, the curator. But if you look at Australia's dismissals in the first innings, there were 2 leg side strangles You had Marnus nicked a half volley. Steve Smith got a good one, admittedly.
Yeah.
Cameron Green ran himself out.
Yeah, he was looking good too. That was a shame.
He was looking okay. Mitchell Starc just slogged one and skied it. So I don't know if the pitch was completely to blame. And then we saw some dismissals in the second innings, and when Cameron Green again got another start, but his hands well away from his body and just flicking at the ball, giving slips practice to the slips cordon. I just wonder if the pitch was completely at fault, or if there's some responsibility on the players with the actual cricket bats in their hands. They need to take some sort of responsibility for mine.
Well, I think you've seen so many collapses like this on green pitches over the years. I still remember the 60 in the UK. I think that was the 2015 Ashes series. Stuart Broad took 8 for nothing.
8 for 15 he got.
Yeah. I think I almost feel like they see the pitch, and so from the perspective of the players, they go, "That's a green monster. Holy shit, what do I do?" But then it's actually about the mental fragility and being able to go and put those demons aside that you think are in the pitch and go, right, I've got a job to do. I've still got a bat in hand. The bat's bigger than the ball. Like the odds on that I can keep this ball out for a good period of time and bat properly.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I'm wrestling with. I understand modern game. People that the attitude is to take it on and play with intent. That's okay. Got no problem with playing with intent. I actually think if you're looking to score, you actually get into better positions to play the ball and to play defensively, to let the ball go. So if you have a look to score mentality, I've got no problem with that. But it can't be without accountability consequences. So I've always said, play with freedom. No issue. Play with intent. That's great. But you've got to take personal responsibility for your performance, and you've got to execute your skills. If you can't do that, I'm sorry, but someone else is going to eventually get that position, because you can't keep making the same mistakes over and over again and not learning from them. That's probably where I'm getting at. You've got to learn. You've got to adjust. You've got to adapt. And I just think that test match highlighted just a lack of adaptability. The players will come out and say, oh, maybe we should have done this or should have done that. Or maybe we need to take the bowling on more. Well, I would argue you keep your head and hands close together and don't follow the ball. Understand that bowlers are allowed to bowl good spells. They're allowed to go bowl good overs. They're allowed to bowl good spell, bowl well in a session. Right? You can absorb that. You can find a way to get through it. And then you climb into anything that's overpitched or wide or too short or too leg side. That's when you can look to score. Sometimes you just, if the bowler's hitting that zone, and you don't need to go, oh, I've got to hit or get out. Because that's straight away you're negatively thinking anyway. Oh, there's a ball with my name on it. As soon as you start thinking that, you're in a negative mindset anyway. So I'd say you got to change the thinking. Go, right, I'm going to get into good positions. I'm going to react to what's coming down the pitch to me, which is what the best way to go about it, and keep it as simple as that.
I like it. That's a coach's mindset right there. Love it, Dizz. Now, we've been talking a lot about green conditions, and I don't know that I did this purposely, but it's worked out well for me that I've got the view outside onto the golf course whenever we do our podcast.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It is looking beautiful and green. So this golf course at the Seacliff Golf Course had some upgrades done in the last 12 months. They had a new irrigation system go in. Now we're starting to get some hot weather, so it's finally getting tested to how this irrigation system
is it standing up to scrutiny?
It is standing up. The course is looking absolutely mint. So make sure you get down and have a game at the Seacliff Golf Course. You and I are still planning our round. It will happen. We were sort of talking about last week.
We're going to wear the GoPros and
yeah.
Can I just warn everyone that we are really bad?
Yeah,
we are putrid golfers. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to add, is there? We're bad.
I don't want to scare you, Dizz, but I've had a couple of rounds recently.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Now,
you're going to beat me by a lot.
They've been. I won't, because this is the problem. Is I'm talking about players' mindsets on the cricket field, and mental weakness. Well, I am mentally weak when it comes to golf. So 2 rounds in the last 20 days, let's call it. One out here and one at Mount Compass, which is another lovely golf course.
Beautiful golf course, yeah.
9 holes both times. Now, out here,
Is 18 too much for you?
No, I love to play 18. It's more about the time with, being able to spend time away from the kids and all that sort of stuff. I'd love to have a round of 18 at some point, and go all out in a proper golf day. But so this round out here at Seacliff, 26 through 6 holes. Now I'm an average between sort of like a 45 and a 50 usually for when I'm playing well for Seacliff. Well, I've been pushing that over the 50 mark, and then all of a sudden through 6 holes I was on 26. Like I was flying.
You got a bit giddy, didn't you?
987 on the last 3 holes.
You got giddy. You got excited.
I almost did a giddy and brought up a triple double in the last 3 holes. It was horrific, and then I did the exact same thing at Mount Compass. I went and played with Mum for a birthday, and started beautifully. I don't think I was 26 through 6, but it might have been 28, 29, bigger course. But and then I absolutely capitulated with a 10 on the hardest hole in the course, and then I couldn't bring myself back into the contest from there. So Mum ended up pipping me by 1 stroke when I was 6 in front of her after 6 holes. So look, maybe I need to head to the psychologist and work on my mental game as well, because But
you should do what I do. Just swing hard.
Yeah. And that's what I'll attempt to do when we get this game. But I have invested in some new microphones. They're coming in the mail. A couple of little portable mics.
Oh, lovely.
So we'll put those to use out in the golf course and have a good laugh.
Might see my Happy Gilmore too, guys. Put that to good use.
Yeah, exactly. So I touched on basketball just then, but how good are the 36ers going?
Oh my Lord, it's just Christmas every day watching the 36ers at the moment, top of the tree by a long way. What I'm loving is just the cohesion. Yes, everyone's spoken about Bryce Cotton. He's been a wonderful addition, and just a breath of fresh air. But it's amazing what a selfless player he is as well. You can tell he just wants to win, and he involves all his teammates in the players. My favourite player is Island Cheatham, has just signed a 2-year extension, Trav.
So your time in the media, you not only are you the cricket expert, you're picking up mail before everyone else is. So you reported this on Still Not Out podcast about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I just had just something. I heard whispers that it was conversations were being had, and we actually interviewed him on ABC Summer Grandstand as well, and he was glowing in his praise for Adelaide and how much he's enjoying it. I think he's living in North Adelaide somewhere, and with a young family, and just really enjoying it. He'd love to have somewhere to call home. So thankfully, Island can call Adelaide home for the next couple of years at least, which is brilliant. But also with the 36ers, what I'm loving is just the team-orientated play, and I think there's no better example of that than DJ Vasiljevic.
Yep.
I mean, this guy could start every team in the country, including Adelaide. But for his role in the team that Mike Wells has got him, that they feel that what's best for the team is he comes off the bench as a 6th man. I mean, he'll win 6th man of the year by the length of the straight. And I'm sure DJ would want to start, right?
Yeah.
No question, right? And I think everyone acknowledges that. But you know what I reckon he wants more? Success.
Yeah.
And he's just doing what's right for the team, and I think that's absolutely fantastic, and love watching him go about his work. I'm loving it all. I think it's just fantastic. It's so much fun to watch 36ers. I was fortunate enough to go to a game the other night, and that was the overtime win against Melbourne United before Christmas. It was so special.
It's amazing at Adelaide Entertainment Centre, isn't it?
The
sold out every single game.
Our mate Jared Walsh, he gets out on the court and engages with all the fans, and it's just a great day out, great night out, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And while she is genuinely the best in the business, as well,
he's unbelievable.
I think he could take on the NBA if he wanted to. I think he's that good.
That good, you
He's
reckon?
that good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. No, I think
He's a beauty, Walshy.
he is. So no doubt he'll be listening. So I expect a pineapple in my locker at work for for that one. Dizz, now it is a new year. Well, nearly a new year. Probably when people are listening to this, it will be the new year. And I tell you what, I can smell the fresh Sharons. I can smell them.
I saw what you're wearing
so
today.
I've worn my power jumper, my retro power jumper, which is my absolute favourite. Gets starting to lose colour. I wear it that much.
Yeah, you've worn it. I was about to say, you give it a good run.
I've given it a very good run. I think I've only had it for 2 years, and it's probably.
I mean, considering it's New Year's Eve in the middle of summer, and you're rocking a hoodie.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I know down here at the Seacliff Golf Course, it's a very comfortable atmosphere with good air conditioning.
Right.
So I felt safe in doing that. But no, I can just feel it. I can feel it. It's only about 6 weeks until the preseason gets underway. Speaking to, we get Brandon Zirk Thatcher comes out and plays here regularly from one of the Gunport defenders, and he's feeling it. He's feeling fit, fresh, ready to go. We get.
They've been putting in a shift at training and getting all they do a lot of running at this time of year.
They do heaps of running, and they're sort of because they're in actually a break from official training at the moment, so they're all sort of meeting up and having runs as a group and things like that, which is great, keeping themselves fit. But I'm just look, I'm not here saying that I think Port will make finals this year or next year, but I just think that they will make some exciting inroads. We'll see some exciting development from some young players, and they've made a few savvy trades to sort of build the depth in the side. So I think they're still going to be around there. We've got the wildcard round this year as well. Yeah. Have you read all about that? So
I've read all about that. Yeah, I don't mind it. I was a bit unsure about it, but Dean Brogan convinced me over the course of a episode of the Summer Grandstand. He kind of outlined all the pros and cons, and he converted me. So, no, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I think the more teams that can have success at the moment in the AFL, there's only one way you can have success, and it's by winning the grand final. If you don't win the grand final, you're deemed a failure. That's just how the system works, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in cricket, you've got series after series that you can win. You've got, different, you might play for different franchises. There's different ways to sort of keep motivated through the year. Now, all of a sudden, if you're a team that's lost a number of games to start the year, like how likely are you to go to win a premiership? So I think the more opportunities there are for teams to make finals, be relevant. I'm a big advocate for actually having a secondary comp at some point where, whether that's something that runs through the year.
Well, the NBL have got the Ignite Cup, haven't
exactly.
they? So, which, at first, when I first saw that, I questioned it. I go, why is that there? That's kind of doesn't sit right. But as it's gone on, it's played every Wednesday. I quite like it, the competition within a competition. I've really warmed to it.
I'm a big advocate. In fact, one of the episodes of Still Not Out podcast, and I know we've got listeners from the UK, but I will share over a small amount of time and listen in to see what you think, because I will compare it to the English Premier League. But I'll run through a bit of an idea that I've got for the fixture. We'll do that just before footy season starts.
Okay, sounds good.
And I think I've had some feedback on it that's been pretty positive so far. So it's something to get excited about. Mate, let's get into some cricket again, because that's what most of our listeners are listening for, other than our humour, obviously.
You couldn't say that with a straight face.
I couldn't, could I? So the Big Bash, mate, we spoke about it last week on our mini episode, but the Melbourne Stars have won another 2 games since we last spoke, 4-0, and they have a 41-year-old Peter Siddle, who's got 8 wickets and 12 on the 8 wickets at 12 on the season so far. He's an absolute freak. Must be all those bananas. But Stars 4-0, who'd have thought?
Yeah, certainly not me. I've been critical of the Stars and how they've gone about it, but I like how they're structuring up, and particularly the batting lineup. Sammy Harper played an unbelievable knock the other night, but I like that middle order of Maxwell, Stoinis, Cartwright, Tom Curran. That just and it looks like they've got a little bit of fluidity with it. I really like that. You mentioned Peter Siddle. It doesn't really surprise me, having coached him at the Adelaide Strikers for a number of years. One thing that's really struck me with Peter Siddle, when he was at the Strikers, he was always our oldest player, oldest bowler. But he always did the most work. Like, he would bowl more balls than anyone else. And we're in an era of workload management and everything. But he wanted to make sure that he was ready to go. He made sure he tick all the boxes and make sure he practiced his Yorkers, whether it be to batters or to targets. He'd make sure he'd get all his Yorker practice in, his slower ball practice, his hard length balls. And he keeps it as simple as that. If you watch Peter Siddle, he really just bowls Yorkers, into the pitch, changes of pace, or into the pitch, pace on. That's all he bowls. That's all he bowls. But he just makes sure that he absolutely nails each of those deliveries. And he keeps it nice and simple. And I think he appreciates and understands that sometimes you can bowl your best ball in T20 and it could still go for runs. So he's very good at parking that and understanding that can be the game sometimes. Batter's allowed to sort of get a bit lucky or whatever, get an inside edge, go for 4, or they just take a punt and middle one and hit it for 6. He's able to park that and move on to the next delivery and not have any baggage, I suppose. So, look, he's been absolutely brilliant.
I don't know if he's been in touch with Australian selectors. There's a T20 World Cup coming up. Now, there's about to be a squad of 30 named. Or I think it's 30 they usually name in the preliminary
Wouldn't
squad.
that be a great story?
Well, I tell you what, if Josh Hazlewood can't get there...
Well, Hazelwood's been named, hasn't he? Preliminary squad.
Yeah. So could it be?
T20 lends itself to... Because it is very short-term thinking, T20, isn't it? And it lends itself... Sid, no, you only have to get through 4 overs, up to 4 overs.
Well, we've seen it with Brad Hodge. We've seen it with Brad Hogg. They've both gone in and played roles. I reckon Hodge was... I reckon Hogg was 40. Hodge would have been late 30s when he played, when they went to the T20 World Cups. Yep. And then Matty Wade, even to a certain extent, has sort of kept on. I mean, he would even be not a terrible selection in this World Cup either.
I'm not against it. Not against it. I think T20 lends itself to more short-term thinking. So, yeah, if Sids is an outstanding bowler in BBL, still bowling. I think the key is his on pace is still got to be strong. So he's still bowling 140. His on pace deliveries. I think what you find with guys who move out of full-time professional cricket and go on the franchise circuit, particularly fast bowlers, when they lose their on-speed ball, so if a bowler's bowling 140 and then his change of pace is sort of 115, that's great.
Yeah.
But when their on-pace ball drops to 130, 125, which is what we've seen. We've seen Kane Richardson is bowling at the moment for Sydney Sixers. His on pace is barely touching 130 now. And then his slower balls are 115, 120. A highly skilled bowler, Kane Richardson. But for him, if he wants to continue to play, he's 35 now. If he wants to continue to play for the next few years like Siddle, I think he needs to make sure his on-speed ball is still in that mid to high 130s so that his changes of pace are more effective.
Yeah. And then you've got other guys as well. And part of the management of a roster in the Big Bash as well is that you lose players. Yep. And particularly in the Big Bash, when you lose a player who you've signed as your key international signing. Now, the Heat have just lost Shaheen Shah Afridi, who's their star pickup.
I was looking forward to catching up with him tonight because I coached him obviously with Pakistan. He's a great fella, Shaheen. So
yeah, well,
I was looking forward to catching up.
As a coach, right? How deflating is it when you've signed a big international star and you almost set up around them to a certain extent, and then you lose them either before or so early in the season? I reckon the Strikers lost Rashid Khan a couple of times early in a season where you had to pivot.
No, we were okay. It was more later in the tournament generally with Rash. But look, and this is why I remember a few years ago there was almost a farcical draft. We went to Melbourne. We sat in this draft, and there were all these marquee players that were all paid by Cricket Australia to be these big names. And remember, Faf du Plessis, Kyron Pollard, Andre Russell, these guys were all marketed as they're going to be part of the big bash and it's going to be exciting. They're going to be the big signings. The clubs are going to be bidding wars to get these guys. And we actually warned Cricket Australia that ain't going to happen. And the reason is because those guys are only making their availability for 3 games and then they're going to go off to other tournaments, either South African T20 or the IL T20 in the UAE. And so you had these big names that no one was touching. Like none of the coaches, you know, when they go around and say, who's your bid and all that. And went around and, you know, the hosts were saying, oh, okay, so what was your main reason for signing this player? And, you know, all these marquee players are here. And every coach said, well, availability. We've got this guy is available for 10 games and this marquee player that you've promoted is available for 3. So what do you want us to do? Spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a player for 3 games or have some stability and have some consistency in your team for 10 games? It's a no-brainer. So Cricket Australia massively dropped the ball on that, but they were warned. So, unfortunately, coaches we don't get listened to at all. So, so that was a lesson learned. Hopefully, going forward. But Shaheen Afridi missing for Brisbane Heat, and look, sometimes you're at the mercy of national boards who then will pick their players to a tournament gets put in. So I think Sri Lanka. Pakistan are going to Sri Lanka to play some T20s. So I don't know how far ahead in the program that was locked in. I'm not sure.
No, I think they come back before the end of the series.
Right.
Well.
Okay. So that is what it is. National duty comes first. Yep. Absolutely, no question. Playing for your country is the highlight. So everyone understands and accepts that, and that's why, as coaches and strategists and the like, and high performance managers and the like. That's why we go over a lot of stats in a lot of different tournaments to find that golden nugget, someone that is performing strongly, is always under the radar a little bit, who isn't necessarily going to be playing international cricket. So you have them for the whole tournament because you want that stability, you want that consistency of having a player available for selection for the whole tournament.
Makes total sense. And, you know, the generally speaking, the most consistent squads in terms of availability are the ones that go on and win titles.
Exactly.
So 2017, you would have had your signings the whole year. You would have had a young Rashid Khan.
Correct.
Then who would have been available the whole season.
And we had Colin Ingram.
Yeah.
Who was not involved with South Africa by then. He'd finished up, so he was available for the whole tournament, which they were the key reasons. I remember when we signed Colin Ingram, we did a real deep dive into the numbers and stuff and how he'd fared around the world in tournaments. Got some feedback from coaches who'd worked with him, players that had played with him, and he just ticked every box. He was like, great fella. Obviously performed strongly. At the time, he was facing his first 5 balls in T20. He had one of the best strike rates in world cricket around T20 circuit after 5 balls. But then after 10 balls, he didn't slow down. He just kept going. And so he was just really consistent. And we thought that would be fantastic for us as a franchise to have someone with his experience and a great bloke as well. So and he fitted in really well and was a key contributor to our success.
Good memories. We wouldn't mind seeing the Strikers get up and have a win again soon, but not the best start to the season, but still plenty of time left in it.
Plenty of time for the mighty Strikers.
So the 4th test, yes. We've spoken about the grass, so we won't go there again. But this, on a game like this, you win the toss, you throw the opposition into bat. Is that almost games like this where the toss is such a big advantage to have as well? And it turned out that batting 4th on that wicket ended up being the best conditions to bat on.
Well, both teams played their cards at the start of the match by not playing a frontline spinner. So I know Will Jacks was a part-time spinner and they can use Joe Root. Australia can use Travis Head and the like. But when you select your squad and you select your final team with 4 out-and-out seamers, and in Australia's case, 4 plus Cameron Green, 5th seamer, you're pretty much telling the opposition, we are going to bowl first. Because if you were planning on bowling last on a surface, you'd have spin options, wouldn't you? So both teams telegraphed it, and they both acknowledged that. I mean, Ben Stokes won the toss and bowled. Steve Smith acknowledged he would have bowled first. Yeah. So it was as plain as the big nose on my face. So it was very obvious. So and that's fine. That's you play the conditions. 10 mil of grass. I know lots have been spoken about it, but just you look at the conditions and you make your call, and that's what both Australia and England did.
Cam Green, it affects him either way because he bowls and bats, so he's involved in the game either way, but he's batted everywhere in his return. You and I had a bit of a text exchange about this the other day. He's batted everywhere in the batting order in his last 7 Test matches, from 3 down to 7. And your point, I guess, is around the Andrew McDonald and the leadership in that Australian team want it to be a flexible batting lineup. My point was, well, if he's coming back in after a long layoff and he hasn't been able to get settled yet, is that hampering him? And then other players have done it, but are they playing every single role? Whereas there's so many layers to it. But what are your thoughts on Cam Green and where he's at the moment? Yeah,
look, I do agree with you that he has been moved around a lot. I mean, only in the Caribbean and World Test Championship, he was batting 3 for Australia and not bowling. So they obviously think very highly of him with the bat in hand. High-end talent, absolutely, no question. I do believe he was put on notice, though, at the MCG, being put in at number 7. The selectors, that's what the selectors are saying is, Cam, we need more from you. We need more output. I think the selectors have been very supportive of Cam Green over the journey. They clearly like what they see, high-end talent, but you need a return on your investment. And Australia invested a lot of time and energy into Cameron Green. He's played, 30-odd Test matches now. And his output in recent times, I think this Test series is averaging 18 with the bat and 52 with the ball. So for me, that will be a discussion going into the Sydney Test match. Bo Webster is waiting in the wings. Bo's averaging in his 7 tests so far is 34 with the bat and 23 with the ball.
Yeah.
So both all-rounders, not bowling heaps in Test cricket. They're both averaging more part-time numbers really, but 10, 11 overs a Test match. And I mean, Cameron Green's played the 4 tests, only by 30-odd overs in this series so far. So this lends itself to another whole debate altogether. Like, do you need the all-rounder to bowl the overs when Test matches are clearly not going as long, bowlers aren't bowling as many overs? Do you actually need the all-rounders overs, or do you just pivot and go, you know what, we're just going to pick the best 6 batters that we've got in the team. We've got our wicket keeper, and then we pick our best 4 bowlers. And one of the top 6 maybe can bowl some overs. That's something, because the reality is Australia playing 4 seamers. They actually didn't need Cameron Green's bowling. So therefore, he's basically been picked as a batter to bat at 7. So you need output. You need batting output. So this is where I would suggest it's not, you don't have to have an all-rounder for those overs. You've got Travis Head, he can roll some out. Marnus Labuschagne comes in and bowls seam up. So I'm not sure you actually need the all-rounder. And the numbers are actually backing that up at the moment.
Well, I'll get your changes in just a minute. But before I do that, I just want to wrap up something that Andrew McDonald said in the media yesterday. He was talking about the Ashes and how they were done at 3-0. They were talking about reflecting on Melbourne. He said, well, the Ashes were done at 3-0. Anyway, I'm not sure I loved that comment, because I want my Australian team to go full throttle to go for a 5-0 victory. Obviously, that can't happen anymore. But do you think they're going to have a little bit of extra sting back in their tail having lost the 4th test? Or do you think that honestly, they're just getting through, maybe a bit of World Test Championship points are on the line, so that might get them through. But I want to see them come out with breathing fire after losing the first test to England in 15 years in Australia.
Look, absolutely. And make no mistake, I think Andrew McDonald, I'll defend him there. He's just stating a fact. Yeah, the Ashes were over once won in Adelaide. It's 3-0. The goal is to win the Ashes, and that's what Australia have done. Great. Your point is valid. I mean, we want to see good contests and the challenge. Mitchell Starc summed it up beautifully at the end of Adelaide. No, we want to win 5-0. So I don't think there's any complacency there from anyone in that Australian setup. None at all. Is there subconsciously a bit of a foot off the gas? Maybe. I mean, I played in dead rubbers over my career, and there's no intention to take your foot off the gas, but maybe subconsciously you're just looking ahead to the next challenge. There's no doubt that a few of the players will be starting to look ahead to what's coming up. That's natural. And with the schedules the way they are, it's only natural for players and coaches and selectors to start thinking beyond what's right in front of them. You want to be able to think what's in front of you, and players should have that mindset, but minds wander, don't they? So who knows? You can only the only people that actually know whether their minds have wandered and they're looking at outside of this right here and now are the players and coaches, and so you'd have to ask them. But with a lot of cricket coming up, I think we're going to see some change. I think there's going to be some movements. I think there'll be some change for this Test match. Because the selectors, their job is to make the side better. Australia, even though they won the Ashes and, yes, poor game in Melbourne, the selectors' goal is to make the side better. So I suspect there might be one or two changes.
All right, so hit me with them. Let's look at the forecast. So the changes for Australia and England. England have lost Gus Atkinson, who had his best game of the
That's
series.
an easy one for me. Matthew Potts comes in, the Durham seamer, who I think should have played well before now. I think he would have been ideal in Melbourne. I think he would have been good in Adelaide as well, to be perfectly honest. So I think England have missed a trick by not playing him. I think that'll probably be the only change. I can't see them making any other changes. They clearly are off Shoaib Bashir.
Yeah.
So, but they may need some slow bowling option in Sydney. So we'll have to wait and see. But from an Australian perspective, I think Murphy will come in.
Yeah.
So he'll come in for one of the seamers. So you'd expect Mitchell Starc to play. You expect Scotty Boland to play. And then who are the other? Jai Richardson will drop out. Nisa will hold his spot. And so I think Todd Murphy be in for Jai Richardson. And I think Bo Webster will come in for Cameron Green.
Be huge. Do you think the fact that Bo Webster can bowl spin plays into that at all, or do you think that seeing him purely as a seam up?
Seamer.
Yeah.
If they have Todd Murphy, Travis Head, they probably don't need Bo Webster's off spin, which is it's handy, but his seamers are probably more what's needed.
Yeah. So I know Nisa bowled really well in Brisbane, and I know that he played a role in Melbourne as well. He took his 4 wickets in the first innings, but I think they also got him away for runs easier than the others. And I feel like there's an investment in the selectors in Jai Richardson. They want to keep him playing. So I have a feeling that Richardson might play. And
I don't think so.
Drop
I think they're worried about him in a 3-man seam attack. I think 4-man seam attack, they're happy because they're worried about how many overs he's bowled and what he's done in recent times. He's come back from injuries. So I personally, unless a bowler is fit and robust enough to be able to bowl up to 40 overs in a test match, not even thinking of picking him. Yeah. So I don't buy all this workload stuff. You've got to be, you're either fit to be able to bowl for full 5 days or you're not. And so I'm a no for Jai Richardson. I'd want him to go and get some more cricket under his belt. He looked underdone to me. The only other one they could do, it could be out of Michael Nisa and Brendan Doggett. If they want a bit more airspeed, I'll probably go Doggett. I think they like the whole package of Nisa, can bat, gun fielder. So I think that's the way they'll go.
Yeah, nice. Now, this is where I want to go with this next part of the conversation. I want to look forward to the 2027 Ashes and have a look at
the 2027 Ashes. I'm taking a tour group there. Yeah, with Gillespie Sports. So we've got about 80 people already that have paid deposits to go on that tour.
Wow.
Which is exciting.
So tell us, like, what does it involve?
It'll be 3 test matches. So we'll go to 3 tests. We'll sit there in loud shirts, and I'll have to get creative and come up with some new shirts. So I'm hoping to host it with someone, another former player. So as we did earlier this year, we did West Indies, and Carl Hooper came along. When we go to England, I'll get another former player to come and accompany us. So that'll be a bit of fun, but it'll be 3 tests. So we're thinking the test matches are going to be at Trent Bridge, Nottingham, Lords and Southampton, the Rose Bowl or whatever it's called. It's a sponsored one now. We do that as well as in between 2 of the tests, we'll have a trip to Italy as well. So it's going to be pretty special. So yeah, if anyone wants to register their interest, they can go to Gillespie Sports and have a look.
Nice. And get to spend some time with a great man. Well, I'm excited about the shirts. That's what I'm most excited to see.
You'll get one. I'll get you a shirt. Don't you worry about that.
I told you before, but I've sent a couple of friends off to Sydney with the shirts. I've told them they have to post it back when they finish.
Yeah, you never see them again.
Yeah. But my English friend's going to wear the Carl Hooper shirt.
Brilliant.
And then his missus is going to wear the Dizzy. So it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully they appear on some sort of social media somewhere.
That'd be great.
Yeah. All right. So the squads as they are now, I want you to give me a yes, no on each of the players.
So you're going to know each person, and I'm going to say whether they're going to feature in 2027 or not.
That's absolutely correct.
Okay. Let's give it a crack.
All right. Let's start at the top. Skipper Pat Cummins.
Yes.
Steve Smith.
Yes.
Usman Khawaja.
No.
Marnus Labuschagne.
No.
That's a big call because he will still be only 33, I believe, in the 33, 34. So
no, that's I know, but it's his numbers have fallen off a cliff.
They have,
unfortunately, and I think he could feature age profile. Absolutely no worries, but I think maybe for Marnus, I'll put it a maybe. But maybe a different role for him might be on the cards, maybe down the order. Okay. Maybe a number 5. Yep. So I'll put him as a maybe, yeah.
Okay, I like it. Jake Weatherald.
No.
Alex Carey.
Yes.
Cameron Green.
Yes.
I think so too. Michael Nisa.
No.
Mitchell Starc.
Yes.
Jai Richardson.
Yes.
Scott Boland.
No.
Josh Hazelwood.
No.
Brendan Doggett.
No.
Jeez, there's a lot of changes, isn't there? Josh Inglis.
No.
Bo Webster.
Yes.
Todd Murphy.
Yes.
Wow. Well, there you go. So that's a lot of change.
I think so. It's a long way away. It's a solid 18
year and a half.
Away.
Yeah,
it's a long way, and a lot of things can happen. There's a lot of cricket to be played. That's kind of my thinking. There's just so much cricket, and some of the guys you mentioned are well into their 30s now, and bowlers. It's hard. I think there's going to be some young players that drip fed into this Australian side, or they should be. If the selectors are doing their job, coaches and selectors are doing their job, we need some regeneration in this squad. Look, I know Andrew McDonald and George Bailey very much think of the here and now, but they do need to have a bit of an eye on the future in this space because there's going to be some change. There's some good young players coming through. Obviously, Nathan McSweeney. I'd love to see him get another opportunity. I really like the look of this Campbell Kellaway I'm a big fan of Ollie Peake. I think he'll be playing. I've mentioned Jaden Goodwin in the past. He probably needs to score some runs at domestic level to justify that. But there's a few good players. I was watching Big Bash last night and saw Ashton Turner, 99 not out off 41 balls or whatever. That was a superb innings. But I like the look of Marley Beardman.
Oh, yeah.
He bowled nicely. He's tall, he's got airspeed, he can shape it a little bit. Don't be shocked if he features in 2027 in
And he's
England.
spent a bit of time around the squad.
He has, and he just, it's marrying up that potential with performances at the lower level. So if these players, they don't have to. This is the thing; they don't have to bang down the door as such and tear it up at domestic level. But if they show they can handle the long form of the game, they spend time out there. They can show that, and for me, they'll be able to progress and play at the next level. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how a number of these players that I've mentioned all go the second half of the Shield season, and then going into next year because there's going to be some opportunities, I think.
All right, so this will be the task that we'll do on the next pod that we meet here at Seacliff. We'll do your 11 for the first test of that Ashes series. So
wow.
Yeah. So
crystal balling.
Yeah, crystal balling.
Proper crystal balling. Yeah, we can have a crack at that.
Yeah. I'll come up with one as well, and we'll see where we land without.
Okay.
We'll share it live on air just for pure reactions purposes. So that'll be a bit of fun. All right, let's look at the England squad and see who you think will be around in 18 months' time. Zach Crawley?
No.
I think he will. I think he's. He's been one of the better players for England so far. So I reckon. I actually reckon he's
you're probably right. He probably will be around. But my thing is he's played 60 Test matches, and it's like he's played his first one 60 times.
Yeah,
he hasn't learnt, and maybe this tour is a turning point for him. I think he's highly talented.
Yeah.
No question. I think he's a very good player, but he's chronically underachieved at Test level. And that's probably why my initial thought was no, but I think you're probably right. He probably will feature.
Ben Duckett?
Yes.
Jacob Bethel?
Yes.
Joe Root?
Yes.
Ollie Pope?
No.
Tough for Ollie Pope. He was the Jacob Bethel before Jacob Bethel, really, wasn't he? He was the next up and comer, and Harry Brook.
Yeah, of course.
Ben Stokes? Could he play?
I will say yes at this stage, but that'll about see him through, I reckon.
Would his spot be safe as a batter only, if that's what it came to?
I think so.
He's getting on. Old Stokesy. Jamie Smith?
Yes.
Will Jacks?
No.
Not even as a batter?
No.
No. Gus Atkinson?
Yes.
Bryden Cass?
No.
Josh Tongue?
Yes.
Jofra Archer?
Yes.
Matty Potts?
Yes.
Shoaib Bashir?
No.
I'm going to throw in another name. I don't actually think he's in the squad. Ben Folkes?
I'm going to say no. We know how good a keeper he is, but I think they've moved on from him.
Yeah. So that's a lot less change in the England camp.
Well, they're a younger squad profile, aren't they?
Yeah.
As well. And they've invested a lot of time into those guys, the England management. So I think it'd be a bit more battle-hardened. And England will start favourites 2027, Ashes, as they should. They'll have a more settled side. Guys have now played another 18 months together, learnt, developed. That's the key. Have they learnt? Have they developed? Have they progressed? If they have, then they're a massive chance.
The good news for Australia is there is a lot of test matches to play between then.
They can get some crucial game time into a lot of players, I think, because they want some of these young guys. If they want to get them in, they'll have a dozen test matches under their belt before they get to England, and I think that is really important.
Yep. So you got 2 tests against Bangladesh. You've got 4 tests. I think it's 3 against South Africa.
Yep. 3 against South Africa, 4 against New Zealand.
Yeah, and then 5 against India.
Yeah. So there's so much cricket, and I think that's Australian cricket doesn't have a better opportunity to start blooding some new talent, especially if you've got your eyes on the Ashes. But I understand how the selectors and the coach think that they look at every series in isolation. Just go, right, the here and now, we've got to pick what we think is the best team for right now to win this series. And I understand that. But we do need to start thinking a bit bigger than just what's right in front of us right now.
Yeah, 100%. Now, what is in front of us right now is it's New Year's Eve, and we need some New Year's resolutions before we head out into our last episode.
First of all, I just want the Strikers to win tonight.
Okay.
So that's for me. That's all I want. I just want to see the Strikers win tonight.
Okay. So that's the Strikers' New Year's resolution?
Yes.
What's yours? Have you got one?
Well, I got to find myself a full-time job at some point.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'll be looking at in the new year, is just looking around to see what's available, see what's out there. So that's my New Year's resolution.
Nice. Very good. I made one this morning, and it's a very, very typical New Year's resolution. But I was quite specific. I've made myself a challenge.
What is that? Is it a fitness challenge?
It is. I'm going to the gym every day in January.
Right.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half, or like it could be 20 minutes, and I just go and do a quick little cardio. But for me, it's about just getting there and proving that I can do it.
The hardest thing
is kids.
Actually is actually putting your shoes on and walking out the door.
Yeah, that's right.
Once you do that, the rest is easy.
Yeah.
Or not easy, but it's easier.
Yeah. So that's my plan.
Putting your shoes on
every day in January, right. And then I can calm down from there. But I'll be in a routine of going. Right?
Are you a walker?
I don't mind it. Well, it's funny you should ask this. You gave me a hard time about my Crocs.
Yeah.
So
they are putrid. They are putrid. So what has it got on it?
Enjoy.
It's got some cartoons or something.
This is the Croc that I'm rocking. So it's got Pokemon on there.
So I've heard of Pokemon. Yeah. What is it?
I've got some.
What is Pokemon? Is it some sort of cartoon or something?
It is. So I grew up on Pokemon.
Right.
I grew up on it. It was like
I keep forgetting how much younger you are than I am.
There is an age gap.
But
that's like some of the best combinations. You know, young and old.
Yeah.
But no, I grew up on it. So Cheese TV. 7 a.m.
I've never heard of that before in my life.
It was the old, you'd wake up in the morning for school, and it was the thing that got you out of bed, was the fact that you could go and watch Cheese TV.
I used to watch Looney Tunes. Roadrunner.
Flintstones. I still enjoy those shows.
Yeah.
But no, this was the wake up. So you'd get up, you'd have your brekkie, and then you'd dial in for half an hour of Pokemon, followed by half an hour of Dragon Ball Z. It was always a good morning.
What?
You don't know what
Dragon Ball Z?
You've never heard of Dragon Ball Z?
Never heard of it.
Oh, wow. We do need an education. All right. Well, maybe.
Never heard of it.
Maybe one day we can sit down and watch an episode. I'll set up the camera and I can watch your reactions.
Something that would float my boat, mate.
But no, your question to me was, am I a walker?
Yes.
I play a game called Pokemon Go, which was a fad.
Isn't it a cartoon?
Yeah, no, it is. But it started as a game. Like that's sort of where it all came from.
Right. Okay.
And so anyway, there's this game which is on your phone,
right?
And you walk around and you catch Pokemon, and
what?
it was a thing. It was a fad.
You catch Pokemon.
Yeah. See, look, I've got a Magmar right here. So this bad boy. So you click on him. Now, sorry for the people who are listening to the podcast. Those of you who are watching, and then I can just I can feed him a berry, make him want to jump inside the Pokeball.
So how does
I literally just
why
catch
is that
him.
walking around? What?
Because it's like based on your GPS. That was a bad throw. Oh God, geez, I'm really feeling the pressure here. I'm usually there we go, nice throw. So it's based on your GPS, so it picks up where you are, and the Pokemon are dotted around. You got to go catch the good ones, and they're around the system
outside.
Yeah, that's right. You can't see them.
What?
They're just on the app. This was a thing in like 2016. It came out. It was huge.
Right.
Okay. And then I sort of played it a lot at the start, and then I forgot about it. And then a friend of mine recently got right back into it, and so I've been hardcore back into it ever since. Right. But yeah, okay. So and the more you walk, the more like rewards you get in the game.
Oh, okay.
So it does actually
A little bit of a fitness thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sounds like a right laugh.
Yeah. It is a good time. So anyway, so there's a bit of a Pokemon education for you. But Harry's getting right into it.
Right.
You would know. You would have heard of Pokemon cards before. Pokemon cards.
I've heard of the cards.
Yeah. So Harry's.
But I thought it was a cartoon or something.
Yeah, but like there's spin-offs everywhere.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
the trading card games was always a popular one. I always used to get ripped off in the schoolyard for my Pokemon cards. So, but yeah, if I kept my Pokemon cards from when I was a kid, they would be worth like thousands of dollars now. Thousands. Wow. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It's huge. So that's my New Year's resolution. I'll get to the gym. I'll probably play a little bit less Pokemon, to be honest, because I'm probably playing too much. And and so every day in January, that's me. Right. I want you to give some New Year's resolutions to some people in the world of cricket. All right. First one, Cameron Green.
Keep your head and hands close together and not sort of flirting outside off stump, trying to play sort of 45-degree bat shots outside off stump. He's a better player than what he's shown in this series.
I like it. Brendan McCullum.
He needs some help. Yep. I think he's a fine man, and I love what he's trying to do with this England side, bring some positivity, but he needs some help, needs some more good people around him, and maybe be a bit more open to feedback.
Usman Khawaja.
Well, I think he's going to get ready for his television career at Foxtel.
He'll be good as well.
He'll be very good.
He'll be very good. Very, very good. Ollie Pope.
He'll start getting ready to play county cricket for Surrey.
Yeah, I think so too. And that is the last one I've got for you on the New Year's resolution. So hopefully they were listening. Hopefully these dreams come true for them, and they'll all absolutely flourish if those New Year's resolutions pay off for them. You got a dad joke for us today, Dizz?
Well, I was just thinking that before. I better just go check my phone.
You've always got something.
Something
even if it's in the back catalogue, you've always got something around the place.
Yeah, I do. I did have one, but it has a swear word in it. I wasn't sure that would be the right way to go, but
I mean, I can bleep it out if you wanted to go with it.
Hey?
I can bleep it out if you wanted to go with it, Dizz.
Okay, I'm going to say it.
All right. Let's have it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, everyone. I was sitting on the toilet, angry and late for work. I thought, don't have time for this shit. How good was that?
Mate, it's an inconvenient time. If you're running late and you got to go, it is an inconvenient time. So not only do I think that's a good dad joke, I can relate.
You can relate to it. Brilliant.
Hey, that's all we've got time for today, but it's been good fun. We've covered off heaps of stuff. Plenty of BBL, which is nice to do some local Australian domestic stuff as well.
Definitely.
Ash is coming towards the end. Basketball as well, a bit of footy. We'll talk a little bit more footy as the time goes on.
It gets closer to the season, and we'll touch on the two teams here.
That's right.
And I want to maybe delve into a little bit of SANFL as well.
Yes.
Which we love.
Yeah, we do.
The mighty Redlegs. Yeah,
well, their arch nemesis, Sturt, had one of the all-time seasons last year. So
I did. Yeah.
Hey, mate, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you do want to get in touch with us, please do. We'll do an Ask Dizzy episode next week. So get your questions ready for the great man. We'll probably, what's the date today? It'll probably be just after the Sydney Test. So any post-Ashes questions that you've got, they're the ones that you want to be asking. So we can wrap that all up for you. Make sure you're following us across all of our channels. We're on Instagram, TikTok, or on X.
With all those various social media platforms.
Mate, I feel like I'm like this a lot of the time, but it's good fun. Hey, at least you know what? At least I'm posting about cricket.
Perfect.
And then I've got my own social media to worry about as well, getting up all the Christmas time photos of the kids.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
We're down at Gorge Wildlife Park yesterday.
Lovely.
So it's one to manage. What I have been doing a couple of times by accident, if I've posted to the wrong account, Right. I've posted a podcast episode on my own account, so I've had to quickly delete that, and I've done the other, and I posted family pics to the podcast website. Anyway, but thanks for following along.
Thank you.
Still Not Out podcast. We absolutely love bringing it to you. It's been a brilliant first calendar year of the podcast. I think we're about 10 episodes down, so absolutely loving it. Loving your support. Hopefully we can get out into the community and do some episodes in the flesh over the new year. So Dizz, been a pleasure, mate.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.